a bowl program coming up, this in the next 2 weeks that is going to be a delight to watch. I mean, it's a couch potatoes nirvana, if you will, and but I when I first started playing, high school football or even grade school football, when I was a kid, we called our defense the Chinese Bandits, and the Chinese Bandits was the nickname of the LSU defense, and they were something special, and they were they created an aura of excellence and going to the ball and hitting and never quitting and never giving up and playing, and they called themselves the Chinese Bandits, and that's what. When I was an 8 or 9 year old playing, Pee Wee football, we called our defense the Chinese Bandits, and so what I'm saying is that LSU has got such a tremendous history of quality football, and but I will say this for them also is that they have an entire state and probably a 3-state area that they get to pick of all the players that may be coming out. Nobody wants to play for anybody but LSU if they have a chance.
Well, they have a region.
That's a great gift, and that's a great benefit and a great edge, if you will, for a team to have and when they compete on the national level.
That's true. Yeah, they have a much bigger region to draw from. It's not like some of these other schools where you're trying to get the best in-state talent, whether it's a Wisconsin or Michigan.
Look at the University of Michigan. I mean,
right.
we got to compete against Michigan State, and we got 3 other, Division I schools, Eastern, Western, and Central Michigan.
Right.
We got Notre Dame that is right on our doorstep, and then you get down into Ohio, and we're competing, against Ohio State, and I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, when you look at what what University of Michigan has to compete against in the recruiting processes, and you look at what some place like LSU has, and God bless them, they own Louisiana,
right.
They own Mississippi, they own the neighboring states. If they want a player in that area, LSU gets them,
right.
And God bless them. But I'll play them. University of Michigan will win, 7 out of 10 games against those guys if we play them. That's just the way I feel about it.
Wow.
And but I love those guys. I mean, I think I know Ed Orgeron. I've run against all these guys who are coaching all these top teams now over the course of my career. I think he's terrific, and he's perfect for what they want and they need down there at LSU. But I wouldn't trade any of them for Jim Harbaugh.
No, I agree. I definitely enjoy my dealings with Jim, and I'll certainly have an opportunity next week. Well, let's go to the game at hand. Obviously, Shea Patterson is at quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. If there's ever a time for Shea Patterson to make a statement and tell pro scouts, okay, then I am worth a draft choice and I have an opportunity, he won't do it on a bigger stage than against the Alabama Crimson Tide. What are your thoughts, Mike, about Shea Patterson's pro process?
I think a lot of Shea. I as a lifelong professional scout, if you will, evaluator of talent and builder of teams. Shea is a talented guy, but Shea, what we call the intangibles, is what Shea brings to the game. Okay, he's not the most talented guy. He's not the strongest arm. I'm not sure that University of Michigan has the most sophisticated passing attack, but I will say this, that Shea is a gamer, and we love those of us who have been in the game in football long enough. We love gamers. Shea will do whatever it takes. He will. I mean, mean, when I say whatever, he will do whatever it takes in order for the University of Michigan to compete in the game and come out a winner. And I have a lot of respect for him. Like I said, I don't think he's the most talented guy in the world. I don't think he's got the greatest arm, but he's got a great accumulation of the right talents that make a guy successful. And I've loved watching him. I hope that he can go out in style, win the game, and and make all of us Michigan grads proud, because I think he has it in him. And Lord have mercy, I hope that he finishes up this week with something he can be proud of.
Well, he got a signature win against Notre Dame. That certainly helped him a little bit earlier in the year. But now I want to end it on this one note here.
You know what we got to do,
and
I know you're not bringing it up, and I don't want to make an emphasis of it, but we've got to start beating those goddamn sons of bitches from down in Columbus, Ohio.
I agree.
And that is right now. That is the one thing that is kind of a. It's a stinky part of it's that part. It's that thing that's in your locker room that you got to smell, but you can't get rid of it. Well, we got to get rid of the smell of losing to Ohio State. And you know what? And I think Jim. I hope that Jim can turn that corner and start kicking those guys' butts. And I look back on my days with Bo Schembechler, and that was one thing that he knew he had to do, was to beat Ohio State. And we beat those sons of bitches 2 out of 3 years and embarrassed them. The greatest team in the history of Ohio State football, and we beat them by 2 touchdowns. And that's something that we've got to look back on and say we've got to have that attitude that we had in that '69 team, and just realize that those assholes, did not dominate us. We're going to dominate them, and then to go out and do it.
Okay. My final question here, Mike, and that's this. Michigan took care of Notre Dame. It was important for the program. Michigan, Jim Harbaugh's looking forward to the challenge of beating Alabama. But do you feel that in Nick Saban's mind that he really doesn't want to coach in this game in a sense because it's a letdown from the old national championship hangovers that he's had being in the college football playoff? Not that he doesn't want to coach it, but you know where I'm going. This is a step back from Nick Saban, something that he's not able, that he probably egotistically can't handle.
I'm not a big fan of Nick Saban. I think he's he uses certain situations to his advantage. And God love him, he's been successful in that. But when he starts bloviating on the situation and stuff, I tune him out pretty quickly.
Right, me too.
He's not a guy that I consider to be somebody that I pay a lot of attention to.
Well, I'll just summarize it. My thoughts. I can't stomach the guy. I don't like the way he left the Miami Dolphins by lying and the way he did. That'll be for another show.
He cares about one thing, and that's himself.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you have to. You can't rule that out in all of your thought processes. But there's a sense of honor that I think that all of us who have been in college football and in pro football that want to think that we all adhere to a level of dignity and fair play, and I don't think he plays any. He doesn't play by the rules. Okay, he plays by his own rules.
Well,
I don't care for him.
I'll end it on this note. He's got a bigger ego than the Titanic is big. So go figure. So the only
you got it right, and you know what? And that ego, a good solid ego is not necessarily detrimental your control. And I think with him, it's out of his control.
All right, well, on that note, Mike, I'm going to miss you out in Orlando, but I'm glad that you were able to come on the program, and we'll talk and bring on the program a lot more regularly as I continue to revamp the lineup going into 2020. But, Mike, Happy New Year. God bless.
You guys do a great job. I appreciate your program. I listen to it all the time, and I think it's one of the best that there is, at least in the Upper Midwest. And keep on doing the great things you're doing.
Thank you, Mike. God bless. Happy New Year. We'll talk very soon, partner. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care. Happy New Year.
Take care, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So what's your take on that?
I'm glad that he came through clear this time, and I say that affectionately because if there's one thing that you can say about Michael Keller is that he's one of the most caring, compassionate, and maybe one of the nicest guys that we've had the pleasure to talk to on this show. And you have to applaud a guy for being so passionate about his program, even 50 years on after playing there. But he knows what it's like to win a national championship there, so he's definitely a voice you want to hear from in moments like these.
Well, the Michigan Wolverines are they're a family. They have a rich tradition, Lewis. You're obviously learning that as we bring on more of my U of M people. But that's just the way things are in the Midwest. You've been born and raised in the Southeast. We're the Southeastern Conference. But, like you said, the Big Ten is a conference that long before anybody knew about the SEC was the one that obviously dominated college football until the Southeastern Conference began to gain a little bit of ground is what they basically did. And as a result, that's what you have. But, yeah, Mike Keller bleeds maize and blue. And, I'll be curious to see how Shea Patterson performs over the weekend. That's for on the first. It's certainly a good opportunity for him to impress some people. With that said, I'll bring on David Levin to the program. And, David, welcome back to the Sports Exchange. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Scott. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, thank you. So what's a good word up in northern Florida, if there are any?
Okay, well, it's raining. That's for sure.
Okay.
Seriously. Let's see. Since the last time we've talked to you, the Jaguars are still a struggling football team. They have different opinions on their head coach, and we're talking about the end of the season and what's going to happen thereafter.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the game up in Atlanta. It was ugly. Candy obviously took photos, and I saw the ugliness, especially early in the game, trailing 14-0. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to think games are 60 minutes, that one looked like it was only 6 or 7 minutes at the most before they got in a deep hole and never got out of it. So that was ugly.
They were done after 3 minutes. I mean, it was pitiful. But the biggest news, I guess, this week so far has been Coach Marone. And you and I know both of our feelings towards him and what a great person he is. But when he met with the media on Wednesday, Tuesday, because they switched everything up because of the holidays, forgive me, it was regular Doug Marone, and then it was he was apologetic for the last few seasons, the fact that it's his responsibility for wins. He's not giving players to play. Everything stops with him, kind of like he's taking the weight of the world and the franchise on his shoulders, and he was extremely apologetic, not only to the season ticket holders and to the coaching staff and to the players, but there was a sentimentality to it, Scott, that you saw some realism. There's a reality of being a head coach, and then there's a reality of being a human being, and you got to see that kind of side with Marone there, during the press conference.
Well, I mean, all I can tell you about Doug Marone is this. You can't go to your fan base, okay, and apologize like you're doing and show a sign of weakness. You can't do that. I don't want to hear all this business, okay, Doug. I need to coach better. Because let's remember one thing. I'm not a math major, but geez, oh, Pete's, folks, there's only 32 NFL head coaching jobs out there, and you got one of them. And the reality of the situation is you led the team to a 10-6 record, minutes away from the Super Bowl. And what have you done lately? Not a whole lot, except apologize to an organization about how you can coach better. And you know what? I like Doug. I've got a good